Hey everybody, this is Wes. I'm with Piedra Designs, partnership between me and my wife. You'll get to meet her later. For this first video is going to be wood turning. I just recently acquired a lathe back in July. This is now almost the end of September as recording this. So what I thought we'd do today is start you guys on along with my journey as a beginning wood turner. Let's get to it. Okay, so what we have mounted up here is a piece of elm that was gifted to me by a friend. I thought today we might try to turn a lidded box. This will be my first lidded box in my very limited practice. I have not attempted a lidded box yet, but we're going to give it a shot today. We'll see how it comes out. Let's get to making shavings. As you can see here, I start getting unbalanced about 800 RPMs. So we're going to knock it back down to about 720. We're going to start turning 720. Beautiful piece of elm. This is only the second time I have ever worked any elm. Beautiful grain. It does seem to be a very coarse-grained wood. Let's go ahead and we'll get a tenon put on this end so we can turn it around, mount it in the chuck. Let's see if we can't mount it in the chuck. Okay, so we've got our piece mounted up in the lathe. I believe my first order of business, I'm going to turn another tenon on this end, which will be the lid. I want to be sure we have a way to chuck up the lid when we go to turn that. So let's get a tenon, and then I think I'm going to part off the lid. Very first order of business, I want to, as I'm turning this, I want to turn this cylinder down just a little bit more than what it is now. I'll part the lid off first so I have the bigger diameter for the lid. Then I'll turn the cylinder down a little bit smaller. I want to be sure that I have plenty of room to work with when I turn the lid. I want to be sure I have enough room on my lid that I can get the seating lip turned and have enough outer diameter to have a little bit of an overhang on the lid. So let's turn a tenon and then part this thing off. I'm going to try to increase the speed a little bit now. We should be a little better balanced. 1200, and I'm not getting any vibration on the lathe. So let's start with that. All right, we're going to call that good for the tenon. I'm going to go ahead and part off the lid. I'm thinking for the lid, maybe about here. Okay, we've got the lid parted off. And get some light back up here. We've got the lid parted off. I've got a tenon turned on the top of the lid, so when I'm ready I can turn that around, mount that in the chuck, shape the lid. Now I'm going to get set up so I can drill a pilot in there, and then we'll take the outside diameter of this, the body of the box down a little bit more. Like I said earlier, I want to have this a little bit smaller than what I start with on the lid, so that I can be sure I've got room to play with on the lid, be sure I get a good fit. Okay, so we've got a 1/2 inch drill bit mounted up in Jacob's chuck. I've got a piece of tape I wrapped on there just as a depth gauge. I didn't measure it to start with, but when I measured it afterwards, I'm just a hair over 2 inches in depth. That was just looked like a good depth to have on this box. So let's go ahead and drill this hole out. Okay, we've got the depth that we're gonna have the box, just hair over 2 inches, and that leaves me a little bit of room to clean up the top edge here. Just checking to see if I've got enough. I'd like to have at least a 1/2 inch thickness on the bottom of the box. That might be too much, I don't know. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that so far. My little left-handed stuff there on the very end didn't turn out too bad. And I gained a little bit of room. Ooh, that knot. I love the knot, but, well, yeah, we can keep the knot if I do leave a 1/2 inch thickness for the base. So we'll be able to keep that knot. I'm not going to have to readjust everything down a little bit. We'll go with that. I'm going to get set up to start hollowing this out. Okay, so I'm set up. Going to start hollowing this out. I'll also establish my rim and the lip for the lid to seat into. I'm going to switch to my parting tool, at least for a minute, get my rim established before I completely mess that up. This knot may end up being up more in the center of the box than we originally planned. I'm going to see if I can't get this tear out cleaned up a little bit and then re-establish the rim and lip for the lid. Okay, excuse the cut there. Had a wife issue. She needed some technical assistance with the computer in the house. She'll probably kill me for even mentioning it, but she's gonna have to get over it because, like I said, at some point you guys are gonna meet her and see some of her stuff, her side of the Piedra designs. Oh yeah, I think that isn't too bad itself. I think a little bit of sanding and we'll be able to call that inside good. There, I think I like that. A little bit of sanding. I'm going to sand up through 320, maybe 400 for the inside here. Alright, so we've got everything sanded up. I sanded to 400 actually inside, did 600 on the outside. I've got it cleaned off with denatured alcohol, help remove a bunch of the dust. I'm going to put a coat of sanding sealer on. I will do 2 coats of this sanding sealer. Between coats, I will denib with some 4/0 steel wool. I've got the lid mounted up now. I'm going to attempt to try to turn this lid and see if we can get a good fit for the box. I think at least for the moment I'm going to leave that alone right now. Leave me a little bit of room for sanding there. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, we've got it turned back around now. Gonna try to shake this lid a little bit. Okay, I think I'm liking that. For a first go around, I do want to keep very simple shape. Gonna go ahead and finish removing the tenon from the lid. We'll get that sanded up and finished on that. Then we'll get this thing parted off. So I'm going to take this off, knock off the last little bit of this nub with a chisel off the lathe, get that sanded up. Well, first I'm going to sand up most of this, and then I'll take that top off and finish sanding that by hand. All right, so we got the lid parted off and finished up the top knob. Got some finish put on the box itself. Now we just need to part it off, and then I can finish up the bottom and get that signed. If you remember back at the beginning, I said I was going to leave about a 1/2 inch of base, just because I'm not sure with being an end grain piece here how that's going to work out, especially as you can see, since I do have, this was a limb piece and I've got the pith of the limb real close to center, so that lid is, I left it pretty thick, and I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch bottom. So we'll get this parted off and finished up and get the bottom of it signed, and we'll show you the finished product. All right, everyone, so we've got it finished up. Here it is, my first lidded box. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I have a pretty good fit. Fairly happy with this. There's some things I would do different to start with. I wouldn't have the mortise on the box. I would put the mortise on the lid and the tenon on the box on my next project. I would take a little more time to get the bottom finished up a little better. As I said, for a first box, I'm generally pleased with it. So that's it for this week's project. Future videos, at least here for a while, are probably not going to happen weekly. I have a very, very busy month coming up. I'm not going to get to spend as much time out here in the shop as I want to. But hopefully after October, we will start getting a video out at least one a week, and possibly even 2 a week. If my wife gets over her fear of wanting to make a video, we will hopefully we can work into getting a video from her and myself every week. I'll leave some pictures here at the end of the video of this box, and then now time for the usual YouTube blather. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and share this around with your friends if you enjoyed what you saw. From Piedra Designs, thank you.